today's video, I'm asking one simple question. What are you doing to grow the sport? Now, anyone who has watched or seen my channel knows that most of my videos are about a couple things: helping people to understand the sport, helping new people get involved in the sport, and helping with some training and techniques and teaching some stuff for people who don't have teams or gyms focused around this in their area, right? Helping to kind of expand the knowledge base. Today I'm talking about something a little bit different. I'm asking the question of the vets out there, the people who are involved in this sport. What are you doing personally to grow the sport? Now, what prompted this was a couple months ago, in the winter, I was sitting around thinking about stuff and what videos I wanted to make and what I wanted to do for my own training. And it occurred to me that I do a lot of talking about techniques and stuff, but I don't do a lot of active teaching right now, mostly because I am near the Knights Hall, as I talk about a lot. I go down there and train. They have great trainers. I'm going there to learn myself, and I pass some of that along through my videos here. But it occurred to me that, I'm about an hour away from my gym, so there's a whole bunch of people in my area who might be interested in this, who are not going to drive an hour to try something new without any real understanding of it, right? Maybe they see a little video and they go, what's that? And they get interested, but they don't make that next jump to going and trying. So I decided to put together a intro to night fighting BUHURT class for my local towns, for about 3 towns around me. I put in the local Facebook town pages, advertised on my social medias, basically just put out to anyone local saying, hey, if you want to come try this, you want to learn about it, you've never heard of it before, here's an opportunity. I picked a date and a time and said show up for 2 hours. You don't need anything except water and some exercise clothes, and let's just see who comes. So that got me thinking about, what are we doing actively to promote and grow the sport? Now, I'm not talking about people who are spending the time running tournaments and the people who are running leagues and marshaling and supporting. There's a lot of people, including, myself to some degree, but, I'll be honest, most of my kind of community effort comes through these videos and communicating with people. But a lot of people are spending a lot of time trying to make the sport better and grow it. I'm wondering how many people either aren't doing any of that, or if they are doing some of that, are they thinking about how do you grow it to the outside community, people who are not doing this sport, right? And there's a whole bunch of ways to do that. While I have this conversation with you, I'm going to be showing some of the clips from the recent training class, kind of talking through what I did and why I had it, and what I hope to do in the future. But also talking about the general idea of, are you taking time to think about how do I reach out to people who may not be engaged or understand that? The other thing that kind of prompted this conversation was I was scrolling through my, my socials there, and all of the friends I have are acquaintances, and how many of them are in steel fighting in some capacity. And I see all these profile pictures of people in armor, right? All these people. This is so important to them that their profile picture is them in armor. And I think about all the times I share something or I post it on one of these social media, and I get responses from a bunch of people who are already in armor, who are engaged in it, right? And my question is, how often am I even engaging with people outside of that community, right? If I post something up within my own circle of friends, it's hitting my circle of friends. Am I finding ways to engage outward? And that, even little things, like I said, when I started this class, I shared it with my own page, but I went to all the town Facebook pages and said, hey, if you want to try this, it's free. Here's who I am. Here's where it's going to be. Come on by and learn. And honestly, it was a huge success, especially considering the fact that the week leading up to this, we had nothing but rain, and the weather conditions for the day looked like rain. Thankfully, we actually got by pretty nice weather overall. We had a couple-hour window, and that couple hours was perfect. It was the time that we had, and after it ended, it actually poured. So, maybe the gods were looking down on me and giving me a little bit of a breather from that kind of week of storms. But yeah, so we did a whole bunch of stuff for that day. I had about 20 people overall, all age groups. I had it from a little kid with their dad, who I think was 7, up to a grandmother who came with her grandson, and she was amazing. She did the whole thing with us. And really, this was just getting people involved and getting people to learn about it, and then hopefully funneling some of them down to, my local gym, or to reaching out to me for more training, and getting people engaged who have no idea what it was. Again, there's so many people in this country who know nothing about the sport. They've seen maybe a couple clips online that they don't even know if it's in the US, right? Like they just see guys bash each other in the arm and go, that's interesting, and move on. Versus understanding that it's a sport with rules and structure and history and cultures. And I'm not even talking about the historical culture. I'm talking about the culture of the sport, of teams that have been fighting in the US now, some of these teams for 15 years, and have had established cultures and histories of experience. So are we engaging people and letting them kind of come into this space? I plan on doing these probably every couple months, 2 to 3 months, having a free class. Why? Because I have the space, I have the knowledge, I've been doing this a while, I have the interest, and I'm comfortable getting in front of people and saying, hey, come on over, let me teach you. I like teaching, I like coaching, it's a thing that I do in my professional and personal life, so it's easy for me. I'm not advocating that all of you go out there and start your own class, your open class. Some of you should be. There's definitely some of you out there who are driving distances to your gyms, right? Who, if you looked around and said, "It's my neighborhood, are there people who might want to learn about this?" Right? Are you showing up to something, a thing where you can? Like, I went to Halloween in Armor once and just walked around the town and talked to people about it, right? So if we want to keep the sport growing and thriving, we are constantly competing against all of the other distractions and attractions around us. There's a million sports people can spend their time and money on. It's, you're looking for every 1,000 interactions, maybe I get one person who wants to join. But if I need 1,000 interactions, that's a lot of people I got to talk to. Maybe that number's not right, I'm making it up. Maybe it's 100, but it's definitely not 1-to-1. I talk to a lot of people about what I do, day in, day out, in different capacities. I try not to be annoying about it, but I do care about this, and people ask me about it all the time. And of the hundreds and hundreds of conversations I have, every once in a while I get a guy or a girl who goes, hey, I want to try that, and they come on down to the gym. I've traveled around this country for tournaments, and I've had fighters come up to me over and over again and say, I started this sport because I saw one of your videos. And I don't get that many views on these videos. These are not a huge channel. I'm not getting millions of views. I'm doing this for my own love of it and to help kind of build it. So it doesn't take a lot of effort, but it does take determined, specific effort in spreading this. Finding ways to be engaged in your community. Here's what I don't think works. This is my own opinion. I think just going out in your armor and doing something will get very few people interested. There's a barrier to mental entry to this sport. So what I mean by that is I've seen people run 5Ks in their armor. Super cool. I actually might do that someday, right? I've seen pub crawls in armor. I've seen a lot of other things. Just doing those alone, I don't think it's going to make any real difference. You're just a spectacle. It's a weird thing. It's like, seeing people in the Las Vegas Strip dressed up in certain ways. And, you go to, like, they're like, oh, that's weird. That's interesting. I got a cool memory. I saw a night at a bar. Unless you're going over and engaging with people, unless you're opening the door and saying, hey, I do this fighting sport, who wants to learn about it? You have to be active in your communication. So that's what I did. I put out a call and I put out a post and I invited people and I put a reminder ahead. I asked who's coming and I got a little bit of information from people, and I had, I think, 36, 37 people show interest through the Facebook posts, and I had 20 people show up. Some people who never said they wanted to come, they just seen it and just showed up because I said it was free, show up. And I basically said to myself, I might open the door to this. I'll have one person come or 30, and I will figure it out. I had a rough plan for the day, and I figured I would go through it from there. So, and we didn't do a lot. We didn't make it hard. I had people come by. We'll talk about it. We did an intro to the sport. I talked through the history of it a little bit, of my own experience on my own tournaments, what I do with the different formats, duels, pro fights, melee, the foundation of the rule, kind of a little mini lecture. Then I put everyone through a Tabata workout. I said, we're going to put you through a traditional workout that we do in my training gym. We did a mini one. It was like 16 minutes, and we didn't push very hard. I kept it all body weight. Basically a little hit Tabata workout to say, hey, this is part of in the why we do this kind of training, because about the high heart rate and the recovery time, doing all that. Put them through that workout. Obviously, we handed around weapons and swords, and we handed around some of the steel, the real stuff, obviously, and then wouldn't waste our training swords, foam weapons. Talked about why we use different things, different stuff. I did a real basic class on just stance and real simple how to hold a sword, weapon strikes, onside and offside is the only things we did, and kept it super basic. didn't critique anybody really, and obviously judged the person based off their interest and their athletic abilities, because some people, it was the first time they ever held a sword, and they had no idea, and they were just doing the best they could. Some people had done some LARPing stuff and some other like fencing things that came, and they kind of got it, so maybe they were asking for more feedback. I gave them more. It wasn't about getting it right. It was about getting it in people's hands and getting their experience, right? So we did that. We did some PEL work. We had 4 different PEL stations set up. I have my tire PEL. I had a foam kick bag PEL, and I have 2 posts on my outside power rack that I just used as a PEL with foam weapons and say, here, hit this. I don't care. And I actually had a couple other people from the hall come and help out, which was awesome, and participate and help out, and made my life a lot easier. My son had one of his friends come over and do it, and his dad. My wife did the workout with us, and then she did the filming for me. And after that, we did all that PEL work and stuff. We did some really, really light sparring, right? Like real minimal, just sparring helmets, foam weapons, one minute round. You wouldn't do it 3, so 1 minute round, then we'd swap out and go an extra light. And it was really amazing. We had people, like I said, we had a grandmother down here, and she was like sparring a grandson at one point. And then we had, a couple guys who were really interested going sparring with each other. We had, girls and guys and boys and teenagers and everybody. And we just kept it really lighthearted and fun and give people the experience of this is what we do. Out of that, I've had one person in the last few days reach out to me and say, hey, I might want to train more. I want to learn more about it. That's probably it, right? 1 in 20, I'll take it. This was, for many people, a novelty and a cool thing to do on a Saturday. They didn't know what it was. They showed up. But the feedback I got from everybody was, wow, this was really great. I'm really glad I came. Hoping to do another one in a couple months. Maybe I'll get some of the same people. Maybe I'll get new people. We're going to evolve it depending who shows up. If it's the same, if it's new people, we'll probably do the same class over again, right? Introduction. If it's the same people, we might add a little bit more sparring in for people who've done a little bit of it. Add some more weapon stuff in. We might start doing some punches and kicks. We can just pretty much evolve it as we have people come. These are not training classes. They're designed to get people good at it. These are intro classes to get people to understand it and be like, oh, this is cool. So that's my contribution to my own question. Right now, what are you doing to grow the sport? So my ask of all of you is, if you have the space, you have the capacity in your life, pick something and do it. No one out there said to me, you know what, we have to have a local nights class, that we should do it and definitely have that class right now. I just said, here's a space, I can do it, I have the opportunity, and because I have these tools, and I have the space, and I have the ability, I'm going to use those to help grow this and get more people involved. So that's my challenge to all of you. Do what you can to be involved in your local tournaments, ref when you can, come help in Squire, like all that's vitally important. On top of that, don't be insular. If that stuff's covered, if that the tournament that you're already going to have is there and you got the number of people going to come, how do we find the other people out there? How do we grab the people who know nothing about this? So my challenge to you is, do one thing in the next few months, next month, 2, 3 months, one thing that you haven't done before to help grow the sport. And if you have a cool idea or something you want to do, drop a comment below. Let me know. Let's start a conversation about what we're all doing to better this awesome sport of BUHURT and get us all involved and get more people out there fighting with us in armor. Thanks for watching on the Woodchuck Night. Have a great day.